heavy-duty aerial ladder from Pierce Manufacturing Incorporated. Built by skilled craftsmen, the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder offers the finest quality, engineering, design, and service available in the fire industry today, and is designed to provide many years of rugged, dependable performance. For safe, efficient firefighting and rescue operations, it's necessary for all personnel associated with the aerial ladder to have a thorough understanding of its operating procedures. In addition to this video, the operator's manual supplied with the ladder is provided to inform all operators of the correct procedure to be used when setting up and operating the aerial ladder. To help in this learning process, Pierce Manufacturing supplies a delivery technician for 3 days of preventive maintenance and hands-on operating procedures prior to the department's operating the unit. It's the responsibility of the department to permit only qualified operators who are aware of proper fire ground tactics and who practice all known safety rules to operate the aerial ladder. Let's begin our review of proper operating procedures of the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder with a look at pre-driving checks. Before the unit leaves the station, be sure to check that the ladder is properly bedded and that all stabilizers are properly stowed. Once these safety checks have been made, the ladder can be driven from the station to the scene. Upon arriving at the scene of the fire or rescue, it's important to carefully assess several concerns in order to position the ladder for maximum safety and effectiveness. Determine whether the unit will be used for water tower operations or as a rescue unit. Avoid overhead electrical power lines and other obstructions. When electrical power lines cannot be avoided, contact the local utility for assistance. Position the truck so that you have the best access to the building. Positioning the unit at the corner of the building can provide access to two sides as well as the roof. Be sure the area around the unit provides enough room for full stabilizer extension. Full extension is required for 360-degree operation. The area where the stabilizer pads make contact with the ground must be firm and capable of supporting 75 pounds per square inch. When positioning the truck, always be aware of such things as underground parking facilities, manhole covers, storm drains, and so on. Once a safe site has been selected, shift the transmission to the neutral position and set the parking brake. Place the wheel chocks fore and aft of the wheels to eliminate the possibility of any movement. Before operation of any hydraulic function can begin, the power takeoff must be engaged. Power takeoff controls are located in the truck cab and are activated by engaging the aerial master and aerial PTO switches. As an added benefit, the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder has a built-in safety feature. If either of the first two steps, shifting the transmission to neutral or setting the parking brake, are not followed, the aerial PTO will not engage. Once the power takeoff has been engaged, the stabilizers can be deployed. Controls for both the driver's side and passenger side stabilizers are located at the rear of the truck to provide the best visibility when extending the stabilizers. An additional middle control panel is located at the rear of the truck and contains the following: stabilizer down indicator lights, rotation limit override button switch, hydraulic filter plugged indicator light, aerial PTO engaged indicator light, stabilizer not fully extended indicator light and override switch, hydraulic emergency power switch and indicator light, stabilizer aerial diverter valve switch and indicator lights, high idle switch and indicator light. Do not activate the idle unless light is on indicator light. Indicator alarm test switch. The emergency override control is located on the rear of the body. To deploy the stabilizers for the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder, first, check that the aerial PTO indicator light is illuminated. Hydraulic power should be available and the engine should be at low idle. While still in the low idle, switch the stabilizer aerial diverter valve switch to the stabilizer position. You'll now have hydraulic power to operate the stabilizer valve control levers, and the warning beepers will activate. The beepers will remain on until the stabilizers have been set. Activate the engine high idle switch. The engine high idle RPM is preset for maximum hydraulic power. Using the proper controls, fully extend the horizontal beams. Place the auxiliary stabilizer pad beneath each stabilizer to provide a firm foundation and to avoid the chance of a stabilizer pad sinking into the pavement. Be sure the handle on the stabilizer pad is turned toward the truck to prevent tripping. Using the proper controls, lower the stabilizers. Pushing down with the heel of the hand will lower both stabilizers on the 105-foot model at approximately the same rate of speed, setting them down simultaneously. Lower the stabilizers until the green lights are illuminated. Although the warning buzzer has stopped and the green lights are illuminated, this does not in any way mean that the unit is level or in a load-supporting configuration. Actual leveling of the unit is accomplished by visually using the leveling gauges provided. First, level the truck side to side within 3.5 degrees. If the grade of the unit is out of the desired operating zone, then level the truck fore and aft to within 5.5 degrees. When operating at a grade, it's recommended that the vehicle be facing uphill. However, due to the access to and from the area in which it is being operated, the unit can also be positioned facing downhill. The department should practice setup of the unit in these areas to become familiar with the device and how it reacts in this position. The weight of the device must be supported by the stabilizer system. The rear tires should not be in contact with the ground if at all possible, while the front tires must remain in contact with the ground. Once the unit is properly supported, switch to low idle. You can then install the stabilizer safety pins, keeping the collar about 1 inch from the housing. If a stabilizer would settle, it must sit on the pin evenly. Reposition the wheel chocks. The downhill side should be positioned against the tire, while the uphill chock should be positioned approximately 2 inches from the tire. Close and latch the doors covering the stabilizer controls and level indicators. While at low idle, switch the diverter valve to the aerial position. Stabilizer horizontal beams must be to full extension for a 360-degree rotation of the aerial unit. For operations over the one side, horizontal beams on that side must be fully extended, with a minimum stabilizer extension of 1 to 2 inches on the other side, or enough to clear the side body panel. If any stabilizer beam is not fully extended, the stabilizer not fully extended override switch will have to be held on momentarily to raise the ladder clear of the cradle. Do not take the aerial over the center line of the chassis if the beams on the other side are not at full extension, or the unit will become unstable and may upset. A Pierce aerial turntable rotation limiting system prevents the aerial from rotating to a side of the truck that does not have one or more stabilizers fully extended. As the aerial device approaches the short jacked side of the truck, the rotation limiting system will automatically stop rotation within 5 degrees of the truck center line. An override button located at the rear center control panel is supplied in case a stabilizer extension limit switch should fail. In case of a failure, a false indication of a short jack situation would occur on that side. If all stabilizers are properly deployed, but the aerial device will not rotate past the center line, pressing and holding the red rotation limit override button will allow the aerial to be rotated approximately 5 degrees past the interlock actuator. Once past the actuator, the aerial may be operated normally on that side. To rotate the ladder back to the other side or to bed the aerial, the override button will have to be pressed and held again until the aerial rotates past the actuator as before. Under no circumstances is the rotation limit override switch to be used to rotate the aerial to a short jacked side. Operation of the aerial ladder can be accomplished with controls located on the turntable console and optional controls at the ladder tip and/or pump panel. If for any reason the ladder operator needs assistance or cannot control the ladder, the turntable operator can override the ladder controls and assume control of the aerial. Controls located on the turntable console include a stability indicator that will indicate green for a safe operating condition, yellow to indicate caution due to an approaching unstable condition, or red to indicate a possible unstable condition. If the stability indicator indicates an unstable condition, the ladder load must be reduced or the aerial must be repositioned. A water flow meter that indicates the gallons per minute of the waterway monitor. A stabilizer not fully extended indicator light. An intercom system. A rung alignment indicator light to tell the operator that the overlapping ladder sections have their rungs in alignment. An indicator alarm test switch. A momentary switch and indicator light that engages an emergency power unit supplied for use if the primary hydraulic power system is lost. Activating this switch will provide sufficient power to stow the aerial and stabilizers to a road travel position until repairs can be made. Prior to engaging the EPU switch, the control lever you choose should first be engaged to the desired function. It's important to remember that after operating the emergency power unit for 7 minutes, a cool-down period of 30 minutes is necessary to avoid possible EPU damage. A high idle switch, when activated, it will take the engine to a preset RPM. A raise-lower ladder control lever, a left-right ladder control lever, and an extend-retract ladder control lever. Each of the 3 levers has a locking mechanism in the handle to prevent accidental engagement. A system hydraulic pressure gauge. The system standby pressure is 450 to 475 psi, while maximum system pressure is 3,000 psi. A tip tracking light switch, which operates the 2 spotlights at the tip of the ladder and the lower tracking lights. A stream fog nozzle switch, an up-down nozzle switch, a left-right nozzle switch, and a nozzle master switch. Controls to adjust water flow up or down, left or right, and straight stream or fog are located at the ladder tip. Optional ladder movement controls for extend retract, raise lower, and left-right positioning of the ladder at a reduced speed are also available. A unique feature of the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder is the ability to operate all 3 of the ladder functions at once on high idle with a minimum loss of speed and power, allowing for smooth, rapid positioning of the ladder for firefighting or rescue operations. It's recommended that extreme caution be used until the firefighter is familiar with the response of these control levers. Before any climbing up or down the ladder begins, the rung alignment light should be on, indicating that the ladder rungs are in the proper position for safe climbing. As personnel move up the ladder, they should be alert for any obstructions that might hinder ladder movement. All personnel on the ladder must wear safety belts at all times and have them properly attached to the ladder. With optional tip controls, proper operation of the Pierce heavy-duty aerial ladder requires that an operator be positioned at the turntable console at all times. It's the turntable operator's duty to watch for and warn the ladder operator of any obstructions that might hinder safe operation of the aerial. The turntable operator must always be ready to override any potentially dangerous movement of the ladder or to assume immediate control of the aerial if the ladder operator needs assistance or becomes incapacitated. For this reason, the ladder operator should remain in constant visual and, if possible, audio contact with the turntable operator.
Beware of high voltage wires to your left.
10-4. If I stay at this level, I should be able to clear them.
The procedure for approaching a fire or rescue is to raise to the required elevation, swing into the direction of the scene, and then extend out to it. When fighting a fire,